They could be good, they could be bad, they could be in between or all over the place like me right now. I had coffee, my bad. Hi. So I have 5 tips for you to help you manifest. Ways that can make you manifest quicker and things that hopefully will help you manifest. Now, before we go into the points themselves, I do want to make sure that I have some notes beforehand, okay? First of all, you are always manifesting. There's not any points in your time, in your life, where you're not manifesting things. This means that they could be good, they could be bad, they could be in between or all over the place like me right now. I had coffee, my bad. There is no separation between you and all things. That means that you, me, this pen, this jacket, this gray wall behind me, all of it is all connected. It is all part of the same thing. Our ego consciousness separates things and us and experiences so that we could experience. Otherwise, it would be so convoluted, and honestly, there'd be no real point or room to grow, room to learn. So keep that in mind. You are the source of your reality. Manifestation begins with you. You are, of course, involved in the manifestations and the experiences of other people. This is a bit of a paradox, but life is complicated. Consciousness is complicated. That's something we're going to have to get into in a whole nother video. But for now, let's keep it where we're going, okay? Keep it secret. Keep your manifestations secret. Don't tell people, because people have their own energies, their own experience of our singular consciousness. And that means that if someone might get jealous of you and they might not want you to manifest these things. And so what'll end up happening is that they'll put that energy out there and it'll slow down your manifestations. It might not stop them, but it will slow them down. Likewise, it could stop you from manifesting in of yourself, because what'll end up happening is that usually when you do that, you tell someone, I'm going to manifest this. You're saying you're going to, but it's not about what you're going to do. It's about what you're doing. Tip number 1, focus on self-love. Your internal dialogue will affect what you manifest. So if you are in like a headspace where you say you don't really love yourself and you're like negative about who you are, and that's gonna linger, at least subconsciously. So what'll end up happening is what you manifest will in some way, shape, or form be affected by that. What you tell yourself is what your reality is going to be. So it's imperative that you work on yourself before you start to focus and fixate on intentionally manifesting things. This means there's a little bit of hard work prior to your rewards, but it's imperative, like I said, and it's important, because if you don't do that, you could end up manifesting things that are going to hurt you, hurt people around you, and then you end up in a cycle and you end up in a spiral. The good thing is that you can break that. It takes a little bit of work, and how you do that is probably going to be specific to like where you are, what your experience in this form is, like mental illnesses and other things akin to that. So you have to figure out how to go about that in a way that is best for you, in a way that's healthy for you. Tip number 2, don't practice manifestation if you are upset. This is like the prior points, is that if you are in a negative headspace while you are intentionally manifesting, that's going to carry on to your manifestations, And so you're going to get negative results. If you're in a negative space, your results will be a product of that negativity, at least to some degree. This means that it could either shorten your manifestations, it means that it could corrupt them, it means that it could, in worst case, stop them all together. Usually our manifestations come one way or another, but as opposed to, say, you're in a good headspace, and you're real happy, and you're real excited, and you have love, because love is important. Putting love into your manifestations helps it speed up. If you have all that, then it could happen within like weeks, days, maybe even a day. Depends on how aligned you are with that, and how much trust you have, and how much focus plus lack of focus that you have for it. But if you're in the opposite of that, and you're in a space where you're very, very negative, it could end up making something that would take like a couple of weeks or a few days, maybe a couple of months, years to properly manifest. I've experienced this firsthand. I used to be homeless, as I've said before, and because of that, I wasn't necessarily the happiest person ever. It wasn't the greatest ride in my life. It wasn't really intentional. It's just something that happened. I trusted it, but I didn't trust it. It's kind of hard to explain that experience. If you've been there, you've been there. If you haven't, you haven't. And people are individuals. So it's my own experience, la, la, la. But I now live with friends, with a large space, rent-free. My needs are met. And it took years to get to that point, but I always believed in it. I always believed that love held the answers. And eventually I found proof of this. I found what a lot of people told me was impossible. And that's another thing, is that I let these things be known to the world. People did not believe in it. They put out that it couldn't happen, created internal arguments. And so it took a while to get to where it was going. Maybe a lot of that, or part of that, was contributed to like my own life path and like source necessities and like why I'm here on this planet in this time, learning, growth, all that stuff. But regardless, probably could have happened sooner if I was taking better care of myself outside and, of course, inside. Tip number 3. Okay. Start scripting. I don't know why I'm showing you this. This is my notes for the video. Start scripting. I have a journal I care a lot about. I'm not going to show you what's in it, but I'll let you see it, which I script in. And what scripting is that you write down. It's like a normal journal. You date it, and then you write, I am grateful for, and then you write the things that you're trying to manifest. The idea here is that you're saying that you already have that stuff, and you're writing it down, and then you read it to yourself. So say like, I am grateful for, I don't know what you're into, a new car, a new relationship. I'm grateful for my girlfriend, for my wife, for my kids, for the Starbucks coffee, so on and so forth. It could be anything. Really, it could legitimately be anything that you want. And so then you write it down, you read it out loud, and you could do this, I guess, whatever feels comfortable for you. For me, I like to at least read it when I wake up, preferably when I go to bed. After a certain point, if it becomes kind of like obsessive, then it's probably best to, take a break, because obsession that's not good. You don't want the obsession because it creates lack. So scripting is a great way to manifest quickly, and it helps you feel good just about life in general, because you're saying, I am grateful for. You're getting into the habit of being grateful, even for things that you don't necessarily believe that you have, or like your experience of having hasn't happened yet. And that's important too. One thing you want to remember is that all things that you want to manifest, you already have. It's a matter of being with them. They're already there. They're just necessarily not whatever in your hands at the current moment. So what you do is you get into the headspace of having it into your hands at the current moment. And consequently, you start to appreciate your life in general more, because you are saying every day that you're grateful. That you're grateful for this, you're grateful for that, you're thankful. And the effect that this has on you, holy crap, it has changed my mood around in days, and weeks now, I am so much happier just all around. It's beautiful and I love it. And honestly, scripting got me there. So scripting is like magic. Really, you're magic, but scripting is powerful. It's a great start. It's a great start, especially if you're already in like a negative headspace, because it'll help you get out of the negative headspace. Tip number 4. That's weird. Be grateful and thankful. We just kind of went over that, but I wrote it down anyways because I feel like it needs its own tip. It's important. The lack mindset will manifest lack abundance. Okay? So you'll manifest things that are relative to feelings of lack. Right? But if you're grateful and you're thankful, you will just by nature, because you're always manifesting, start to manifest things that contribute to feelings of being grateful and thankful. So practicing being grateful and thankful in of itself, even if you choose not to script, which you should do anyways, will make you feel better. And one thing I like to do that isn't related to scripting, sometimes I do it before, sometimes I do it after, sometimes I do it on its own, is I will sit in a place where I feel nice and comfortable and I could look at the world. And I will say all the things that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for this bug. I'm grateful for my cat biting my toes. I'm grateful for the sun in the sky, or the lack of the sun in the sky, because it's a little bit too hot otherwise. I'm grateful for the green of the trees. I'm grateful for the smell of the air. I'm grateful for my neighbors who probably think that I'm the weirdest thing that they have ever seen in their entire life. So on and so forth. You just be grateful, even for things that normally you want to think about being grateful for. Tip number 5. Let go. Do not obsess. This is important. Overfocusing causes feelings of not having. It causes feelings of lack. You start getting obsessed with something, and then you start thinking, well, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? If you start thinking, where is it? It's not going to show up. It will show up, but it'll show up when you forget about it. You know what I'm saying? So you do not want to overfocus. So focus so hard that you start to obsess. So what you should do is set your intents, practice your intents, and then let them go when you feel called to. Not just for the sake of it, because that at the same time, then you're focusing on letting it go. What happens when you focus on letting something go? You don't let it go because you're focusing on it, therefore it can't be let go. In the same way that if you focus on holding something, you're holding it. It's focusing on letting something go is the same thing as focusing on holding something. The thing is, manifesting, it comes naturally to you. You're doing it all of the time. You're doing it right now. You could manifest anything. And manifestation is more than just manifestation. It is part of your connection to all things that exist. It is part of the inherent singularity of life. And the beautiful thing about it isn't what you get out of it. It is the reminder that you are a part of something so much bigger than just what you perceive to be you. You are a part of everything. And that means that everything can get better. And the more of us that become aware of this, the more of us that practice being grateful, to practice being thankful, to practice love, the better the world gets. And it's real hard to see that in times like now, but it's true. Manifestation isn't just manifesting. Manifestation is falling in love with the universe itself and all things within it, through it, between it, and about it. I hope that you have a beautiful day. And I hope that you realize how beautiful you are. And you are the best thing that I have ever manifested. I love you. Take care.